Today is March 5th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we are journeying on through Chapter 4, We Agnostics. We're on page 52. The 12 and 12 are on Step 7. We'll read page 74. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we woke up another day sober. And I'm feeling it. I've got plenty of coffee in my system, and I've got a to-go cup. It's one of my insulated coffee cups here with some instant coffee from our local Asia Cafe place, which, say what you will about instant coffee, but this stuff rocks. It's called Wild Tiger. It's an 8-in-1. I don't even know half the stuff that's in it, but whew, I got the eye of the tiger this morning. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading in We Agnostics on page 52, hopefully I said we were reading page 52 today, not 53. I can't remember, but on page 51, I should say, we were talking about how the intelligence of man really hasn't changed a whole lot, but technology has progressed so much that change in the last 100 years, at least as this book was being written, was exponential. And here we are in the year 2026, and with the internet and technology today, it's growing by leaps and bounds so fast. The point of them maybe bringing this up is to dispel the old prejudices about the earth being flat and people can never fly. It's pretty wild how much things have changed and continue to change. So I'll never say never for a lot of these things, but anyway, we're on page 52. But in most fields, our generation has witnessed complete liberation of our thinking. Show any longshoreman a Sunday supplement describing a proposal to explore the moon by means of a rocket, and he'll say, I bet they do it. Maybe not so long either. Is not our age characterized by the ease with which we discard old ideas for new, but by the complete readiness with which we throw away the theory or gadget which does not work for something new which does? We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems the same readiness to change our point of view. We were having trouble with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. Was not a basic solution of these bedevilments more important than whether we should see newsreels of lunar flight? Of course it was. When we saw others solve their problems by a simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. Our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. The Wright brothers' almost childish faith that they could build a machine which would fly was the mainspring of their accomplishment. Without that, nothing could have happened. We agnostics and atheists were sticking to the idea that self-sufficiency would solve our problems. When others showed us that God's sufficiency worked with them, we began to feel like those who insisted the Wrights would never fly. The 12 and 12 are on Step 7. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. And for the last couple of pages, we've been reading how humility is not something that's just going to instantaneously happen overnight for us. That a lot like the last few steps that we read, aside from step 1, a lot of these are going to be lifetime steps. Steps we have to continue to work at because we're not going to get it absolutely perfectly right every time. But that's okay. That shouldn't paralyze us from trying. We can keep moving forward, keep working toward these perfect ideals. So with that, we're on page 74. But when we have taken a square look at some of these defects, have discussed them with another, and have become willing to have them removed, our thinking about humility commences to have a wider meaning. By this time, in all probability, we have gained some measure of release from our more devastating handicaps. We enjoy moments in which there is something like real peace of mind. To those of us who have hitherto known only excitement, depression, or anxiety, in other words, to all of us, this newfound peace is a priceless gift. Something new indeed has been added. Where humility had formerly stood for a forced feeding on humble pie, it now begins to mean the nourishing ingredient which can give us serenity. This improved perception of humility starts another revolutionary change in our outlook. Our eyes begin to open to the immense values which have come straight out of painful ego puncturing. Until now, our lives have been largely devoted to running from pain and problems. We fled from them as from a plague. We never wanted to deal with the fact of suffering. Escape via the bottle was always our solution. Character building through suffering might be all right for saints, but it certainly didn't appeal to us. Then in AA, we looked and listened. That extra line on 75 was free of charge. "24 hours a day, March 5th. AA thought for the day. Sometimes we try too hard to get this program. It is better to relax and accept it. It will be given to us with no effort on our part if we stop trying too hard to get it. Sobriety can be a free gift of God, which He gives us by His grace when He knows we're ready for it. But we have to be ready. Then we must relax, take it easy, and accept the gift with gratitude and humility. We must put ourselves in God's hands. We must say to God, "Here I am, and here are all my troubles. I made a mess of things and I can't do anything about it. You take me and all my troubles and do anything you want with me." Do I believe that the grace of God can do for me what I could never do for myself? Meditation for the day. Fear is the curse of the world. Many are our fears everywhere. I must fight fear as I would the plague. I must turn it out of my life. There is no room for fear in the heart in which God dwells. Fear cannot exist where true love is or where faith abides. So I must have no fear. Fear is evil, but perfect love casteth out all fear. Fear destroys hope, and hope is necessary for all of humanity. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may have no fear. I pray that I may cast all my fear out of my life. Daily Reflection, March 5th. A lifelong task. But just how in these circumstances does a fellow take it easy? That's what I want to know. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 26. I was never known for my patience. How many times have I asked, why should I wait when I can have it all right now? Indeed, when I was first presented the 12 steps, I was like the proverbial kid in a candy store. I couldn't wait to get to step 12. It was surely just a few months' work, or so I thought. I realize now that living the 12 steps of AA is a lifelong undertaking. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading and some beautiful stuff. My goodness. First thing with the big book, I love proving that point of keeping an open mind. And I love how earlier, a few pages earlier, they talked about this whole spiritual program just being a broad highway. It's broad all-inclusive, never exclusive. So a lot of folks with different backgrounds and different faiths can kind of look at this program, these 12 suggestions, and they can still have a spiritual experience or a spiritual awakening that can help them stay sober and experience serenity in a way that we've never experienced before. I love that. And I love how, once again, it's been a common theme, not just with this chapter, but pretty much every chapter since we've first started reading the big book, talking about open-mindedness, getting rid of those old prejudices that we have. My desperation gave me a boost in open-mindedness because I was like, hey, I will do whatever it takes. Just please help me with this problem I have. But the crazy thing was, and this kind of ties into the 12 and 12, when I started doing these things, these 12 suggestions, the line says here on 74, we enjoy moments in which there is something like real peace of mind. To those of us who have hitherto known only excitement, depression, or anxiety. Anyone else feel those before? Excitement, depression, or anxiety, especially in those drinking days? Whew. And I love the follow-up line. In other words, to all of us, here it is. This newfound peace is a priceless gift. Something new indeed has been added. Where humility had formerly stood for a force feeding on humble pie, it now begins to mean the nourishing ingredient, which can give us serenity. And it's amazing, isn't it? The daily reflection and the 24 hours a day were pretty much about the same things. I definitely planned that. No, I didn't. But what blows my mind is when I humble myself. Here's an example. Like, say if I'm afraid to admit certain character defects or a certain thing that I did wrong throughout the week to a trusted friend, I can either sweep it under the rug, isolate, but eventually it's like the metaphor of that marble spinning around, or where at first it starts really tiny in my brain, but just like a snowball, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually it crowds out everything. Or another metaphor, the weeds that we were talking about yesterday. If I don't pull that weed while it's tiny, eventually it's going to grow, it's going to get harder to pull out, and it's going to choke out all the good things that are growing. But anyway, I can either choose to let that weed grow, or I can humble myself and say, hey, look, dude, I messed up. Here's what I did. Can you help me pray about it? Can you help me see what the root problem this might be? Can you help me come up with strategies to prevent this from happening in the future? Can you help hold me accountable in a positive way? When I ask for these things, all of a sudden the fear melts away. And that fear is replaced by that newfound peace. I've experienced that. I know how that feels. But I've also experienced when I don't share the full truth. And guess what happens? Those old things they were talking about, that excitement, anxiety, and depression, that starts to creep into my life. So, honestly, the steps like going to the gym, like at first you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do this. Then you force yourself to do it. You hit the weights. And before long, you look back and you go, I'm so thankful I did that. And my future self's thanking me for it, right? Same thing with these steps. So anyways, my friends, I hope that made sense. I feel like these last few days I've been a little bit more rambly. I apologize for that, but it does make sense in my head sometimes. But if you are sober today, March 5th, 2026, I hope you realize that you're a miracle and you are giving a great gift to those around you. And you have a unique superpower. I love superheroes. You have a unique superpower to help the next suffering alcoholic out there because they're dying by the thousands. We have a unique gift to help others, whether they're a suffering alcoholic or anybody else for that matter. And if you're not sober today and somehow you're hearing this and made it past all my rambling, this might be the God of my understanding working in itself, but I want you to know that you're a miracle as well, and you have worth, and you are worthy of recovery, and you don't have to do this alone. Don't isolate. Get the help that you need. There's the Everything AA app out there. There are countless of great podcasts out there. I love Sobercast. I've been listening to them for years. Oh my gosh, all you got to do is look in Spotify. You'll find so many more. There's another one I really like that I found recently called That's Not in the Book. There are speaker meetings everywhere. In the Everything AA app, they have Zoom meetings all around the world, any time of the day. You can track your sobriety. My point is, there are so many resources nowadays to get help. But are you willing to ask for it? Are you going to be open-minded enough to listen? Are you going to be honest enough to admit that you might have a problem? These are things that you can ask yourself. But my friend, I hope you know in the meantime, your story's not done yet. And I can't wait to find out what happens next. But my friends, if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.